In the last two videos we have looked at the most beautiful Italian radio, and today we will evaluate the design of the most beautiful radio in Sweden. I suspect that the phrase Swedish design will immediately cause you to smile skeptically. Where is elegance and style, and where is Swedish design? But do not rush to conclusions. Sweden in the 40s and 50s. While the world was fighting for technological leadership, the Scandinavians created what we today call pure art. Compared to the German or American consoles of the time, the Swedish approach is a minimalism of form with maximum luxury of materials in decoration. Why do I consider this model to be the pinnacle of Swedish design? Today we will disassemble it down to the last lamp and inch of veneer. Before you is not just a radio, before you is a work of art. An exclusive small series handmade version of the DUX V-1259 radio console. Possibly made in just a few copies by order of the Swedish royal court. I plan to make a separate video about the history of its origin and acquisition. Because this is an extremely controversial and intriguing topic, but now we will briefly discuss the history of the brand and consider the features of the masterpiece design of this exclusive model. DUX is a name that sounds like a sign of quality to a Swede. Production in Malmö has always been focused on refinement. The exclusive version of the V-1259 appeared in an era when the radio in post-war Sweden became a symbol of wealth and luxury. The main character here is Karelian birch. Look at this pattern. In the V-1259 model, the Swedes used a symmetrical selection of veneers, the so-called book layout. I will reveal to you my intriguing secret. The design of this radio console is inspired by ancient traditions and created according to the design motifs of the famous court furniture master Georg Hoped, who back in the 1700s created furniture for the Swedish royal court of the Bernadotte dynasty kings. This is the same chest of drawers that became the subject of inspiration when creating the design of this radio. It can be found in the Royal Palace in Oslo. Compare the striking similarity. The collections in the Royal Palace in Stockholm contain about 30 more pieces of furniture created by Georg Hoped. And now just appreciate the beauty of the design of this masterpiece and listen to the music of that period.
Jag tror det finns nog ingen på denna jord som ler som flickan i fönstret emot. Och när jag ber om ett ja så tror jag ej. Underneath the linden tree, where you give your heart to me, we will be again, my sweet, and oh, how happy We'll make love till up above 100 million stars appear. When we walk home through the park, like two lovebirds in the dark, Bill and I will hold you tenderly. Sweet will be the memory of that lovely day in May underneath the linden tree.
Have you heard this velvet bass? The tube sound in a large wooden cabinet is something that cannot be reproduced with modern plastic speakers. This is the volume that fills the room. A few words about the electronic stuffing. This is an 8-tube radio receiver on radio tubes of the Locktal and Rimlock types. The quality of assembly the Swedes have been doing for centuries. The radio console has a 2-stroke sound amplifier with a power of up to 10 watts and a large speaker measuring 32 centimeters. In a large case, such a speaker in combination with the 4 resonators that you see in the photo creates a very comfortable soft bass and velvety sound. This device is equipped with a wonderful 4-speed record player from Philips with automatic record change, and I have reason to believe that somewhat later, somewhere in the 50s or 60s, it replaced the earlier original single-speed player, which may have still had metal needles. For the reason that in the 48th year there were no other recording standards except shellac records at 78 revolutions and long-playing records at 33 revolutions, which had just been invented in the same year. Well, judging by the design of the record compartment, I have reason to believe that one of the early tape recorders could have been installed here. Considering the status of the people for whom this masterpiece was created, I consider such a version to be absolutely justified. DUX V-1259 is not just an antique. It is a monument to a time when things had a soul and engineers were artists. If you are lucky enough to find even a much simpler radio console, take care of it. It is worth restoring and enjoying its beauty. In your opinion, does this design fit into a modern interior almost 80 years after its creation? Subscribe to Old Radio and Gramophone TV channel, and write in the comments which radio you consider the most beautiful in the world. See you in the next series.